Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening a file that, honestly, I had to read the first few pages of the source material twice
Oh, I know the one.
just to make sure I wasn't reading a screenplay by mistake. It starts off feeling like, I don't know, a quirky indie movie, maybe something directed by Wes
It
Anderson.
really does. It has these eccentric characters, this sort of Soviet-era backdrop, and a scientific wager that sounds, frankly, almost unethical by modern standards.
Almost.
Okay, maybe definitely unethical, but by the time we unravel it, we're going to find ourselves looking at something incredibly practical.
Right. It's about how our environment, and specifically the people in it, shape, well, everything we do.
Everything.
Unethical is one word for it. Visionary could be another, I guess, depending on who you ask. We are talking about the nature of genius.
And this one man's obsession with it.
Exactly. We are looking at a man named Laszlo Polgar. Now, you have to set the scene for us. We're in Hungary. It's 1965. What is this guy's deal?
So Laszlo is intense. I think that's the best word for him. He's an educational psychologist, but he's really a man possessed by a single, pretty radical idea.
And you have to remember the context of the time.
You really do.
Yeah.
At this point, the prevailing wisdom, not just in Hungary, but everywhere, was that genius was basically a lottery ticket, a biological lottery. You were either born with the gift or you weren't.
It's the lightning strike theory of talent,
Yeah.
right? Mozart is just born Mozart, and the rest of us are just sort of playing catch up and hoping to be decent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Laszlo Polgar looked at that theory and said, essentially, garbage. He believed completely, 100%, in nurture over nature. His mantra, the thing he would tell anyone who would listen was, a genius is not born, but is educated and trained.
He rejected the idea of innate talent entirely.
Completely. And, usually people have these theories and they write a paper or they, I don't know, argue about it at the pub.
It's a thought experiment.
But Laszlo believed in this so strongly, he decided he needed to prove it. He wanted to test it on his own children. He wanted to build a prototype.
A human prototype. That's a chilling phrase.
It is. He wanted to raise his own children as a scientific experiment to prove that any child, literally any healthy infant, could become a world-class expert if the environment was engineered correctly.
So genetics didn't matter to him?
Not at all. It was all about the training, the culture, the environment.
But there was a pretty significant problem with this grand experiment he was planning.
He didn't have any children yet.
He didn't even have a wife yet.
Right. A minor detail.
This is my favorite part of the story. So Laszlo starts writing these letters. He's courting a woman named Klara. But these are not your typical love letters. It's not flowers and poetry.
Not even close. He's explicitly writing to her because he needs a wife who is, and this is a quote, willing to jump on board.
To jump on board with his plan to manufacture genius children.
It might be the most unromantic, romantic gesture in history. He's proposing a scientific partnership as much as a marriage. He's basically saying, look, I have this experiment, I want to raise geniuses, and I need a partner who believes in this as much as I do.
Can you imagine getting that letter? Dear Madam, I would like to marry you, but first, please check this box if you are willing to turn our future home into a laboratory for human potential.
It's insane. And you'd think the story would end right there.
You'd think she'd run for the hills, but amazingly, Klara says yes. She was a teacher, right?
She was. And the source material suggests that while she might not have been quite as fanatical as Laszlo, she did believe that with proper instruction, anyone could advance their skills. So she was on the same page, philosophically.
She bought into the premise.
She did. So she agreed, they got married, and the experiment began.
So they have to pick a field. You can't just be a genius in general. You have to pick a lane.
And Laszlo thought about this a lot. He considered things like math, foreign languages, but in the end, he decided on chess.
Okay, why chess? Why not say violin or theoretical physics?
Well, it's objective. That was the absolute key for him. If you play music, people can argue about whether you have soul or feeling. It's subjective. But in chess, you win or you lose, period.
There's a number.
There's a number. It's based on a rating system, the ELO rating system. It is easy to measure progress mathematically. It was perfect for an experiment.
So he lays out this master plan. The kids would be homeschooled, which, we have to remember, was incredibly rare and even frowned upon in communist Hungary at that time.
Oh, he had to fight the government for permission. It was a whole battle.
So they're already isolating the environment from the very get-go.
Completely. The house becomes a shrine to chess, a chess factory. It was filled with chess books. We're talking thousands of them.
Yeah.
Pictures of famous chess players like Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky, on the walls instead of, pop stars or family
The
photos.
whole world is chess.
The whole world. The children would play against each other constantly. They would compete in the best tournaments they could find. And get this, Laszlo even kept this meticulous, almost obsessive file system of the tournament history of every single competitor his children might face.
It sounds incredibly intense. Their entire lives were just dedicated to these 64 squares.
And this brings us to the actual topic of our deep dive today. Because while the Polgar story is fascinating on its own, and believe me, we will get to the results, which are mind-blowing, the source material we're looking at uses this story to illustrate a much broader principle.
We're looking at the role of family and friends in shaping your habits.
Yeah.
This is all based on Chapter 9 of our source text.
Correct. And the core premise here connects back to the second law of behavior change we've discussed before, which is make it attractive.
Make it attractive. Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Because usually when I think of building a good habit, I think about willpower. I think, ugh, I need to force myself to go to the gym, or I need to force myself to study.
It feels like a battle.
Exactly, a battle against my own desires.
And that's the trap we fall into. The mission of this deep dive is to understand that we are not just products of our willpower, we are products of our tribes. We want to look at how our social environment, our family, our friends, our culture, makes certain habits absolutely irresistible and others nearly impossible.
So Laszlo Polgar wasn't just teaching his daughters chess moves, he was engineering a culture.
That's the perfect way to put it. He was designing a tribe of three, a tribe of chess players. And that design, that culture he built, made the habit of playing chess attractive.
He created a universe where not playing chess would have been the weird thing to do.
It would have been totally alien.
Okay, so before we get into the heavy psychology of how we imitate people and all that, everyone is probably on the edge of their seat wondering, did the experiment work? Laszlo and Klara have these kids. What happened?
They had three daughters, Susan, Sophia, and Judith. And the results were, frankly, undeniable. They didn't just become good at chess, they became phenomena.
Let's run through the stats on this because they are just wild.
Okay, so Susan is the oldest. She started playing at age 4. Within 6 months, she was defeating adults.
6 months. So at 4.5, she's walking into chess clubs.
And just crushing people. Imagine being a grown man, sitting down for a serious game in a smoky Budapest chess hall and getting methodically dismantled by a 4-year-old in pigtails.
It would be humbling, to say the least. Okay, so that's Susan. Then there's Sophia, the middle child.
Sophia did even better. By 14, she was a world champion in her age group. A few years later, she also became a grandmaster. She was known for this one legendary performance in a tournament in Rome where she just annihilated the competition.
So a world champion and a grandmaster, that alone would prove the theory. But then there's the youngest, Judith.
Judith is the outlier among outliers. She was the Michael Jordan of the group. By age 5, she could beat her father.
The man who designed the entire experiment. That had to be a bittersweet moment for Laszlo. I have created a genius, and now she is destroying me.
I think he must have loved it. It was proof of concept. At age 12, she was the youngest player ever listed among the top 100 chess players in the world. And here is the absolute kicker.
Go on.
At 15 years and 4 months old, Judith Polgar became the youngest grandmaster of all time.
The youngest grandmaster ever. Who held the record before her?
An American player you might have heard of, Bobby Fischer.
She beat Bobby Fischer's record. That is insane. Fischer was considered this once-in-a-century natural talent.
And this homeschooled girl from Hungary, the product of this experiment, surpassed him. To top it all off, she was the #1 ranked female chess player in the world for 27 consecutive years.
27 years? That's not a career, that's a dynasty.
So, okay, Laszlo was right. The experiment worked beyond his wildest dreams.
It did.
But I have to ask the question that I think a lot of our listeners are probably screaming in their cars right now. It's the question that always comes up when we hear about these tiger parent situations.
I think I know what it is. Was this miserable? I mean, you hear homeschooled, meticulous files, pictures of chess grandmasters on the wall. It sounds a little bit like a prison. Was this a grueling, unhappy childhood? Did they resent their parents for it?
It's the most natural assumption, isn't it? We tend to think that that level of high performance requires an equal level of high suffering. But this brings us to the aha moment in the source material regarding enjoyment.
So what do the sisters actually say about their childhood?
They claim their lifestyle was attractive, even, enjoyable. In interviews, the sisters consistently talk about their childhood as entertaining rather than grueling. They loved playing chess. They couldn't get enough.
They weren't being forced.
They didn't feel like they were.
There's that one specific anecdote about Sophia that really drives this home.
Yes, this captures it perfectly. One night, Laszlo is walking through the house, and he finds Sophie in the bathroom in the middle of the night. She's got a chessboard set up across her lap, just playing against herself.
She's sneaking in extra practice, like a kid hiding under the covers with a flashlight and a comic book.
Essentially. And Laszlo, trying to be a responsible parent, tells her, Sophia, leave the pieces alone. Go back to sleep. And she looks up at him and says, Daddy, they won't leave me alone.
They won't leave me alone. That's obsession, but it's not a forced obsession. It's coming from inside her.
And that is the absolute crux of the analysis here. Why did they love it? It wasn't just because chess is inherently fun for everyone. It's because in their specific culture, the hyper-specific culture of the Polgar household chess was prioritized above all else.
It was the most important thing.
It was praised. It was rewarded. It was the currency of love and attention and status in that home.
So for them, wanting to play chess was as natural as breathing. It was just normal.
Exactly. And that brings us to the definition of normal. Whatever habits are normal in your culture are the most attractive behaviors you will find. If you grow up in a house where everyone is constantly reading, reading is normal and attractive. If you grow up in a house where everyone eats fast food every night, that becomes your normal.
We are just soaking up the water that we're swimming in.
We are herd animals. And that's not a judgment, it's a biological fact. And that leads us to the broader evolutionary context of all this. We can't really understand why we imitate people so much without looking at where we came from.
Right, because today, if I don't fit in with my group, maybe I feel a bit awkward at a party or I don't get invited to something. It's uncomfortable. But thousands of years ago, the stakes were a little higher.
A little. Infinitely higher. Humans have this deep, primal desire to fit in, to bond, to earn the respect of our peers. These aren't just vanity metrics for social media. They are hardwired survival mechanisms. For most of our evolutionary history, our ancestors lived in tribes.
And if you got separated from the tribe,
Separation, or worse, being cast out. That was a death sentence. There's a great quote in the source material. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. That's pretty stark. It is. Charles Darwin noted this too. He observed that in the long history of humankind, it was those who learned to collaborate and improvise most effectively who prevailed. So we have this deep, ancient, and frankly, overwhelming desire to belong. It's baked into our DNA.
and you're saying this ancient desire to not get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger is what drives me to buy a certain brand of sneakers or watch a certain TV show today.
Absolutely. It's the same software running on different hardware. We don't choose our earliest habits. We imitate them. We follow the scripts that are handed down to us by our parents, our school, our church, our friends.
Think about all the invisible rules you follow every day without even thinking about it.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, when to get married, how many children to have, which holidays you celebrate, and how you celebrate them.
Oh, how much money is appropriate to spend on a child's birthday party? That's a huge one.
That is a perfect one. If all your friends in your parent group are spending $500 on a party with a bouncy castle and a magician, and you spend $50 on a cake in the park, you feel like you've broken a sacred rule. You feel a visceral sense of shame, almost.
You do, because you violated the norm. The philosopher Michel de Montaigne wrote, "The customs and practices of life and society sweep us along."
Sweep us along. I like that image. It's like being caught in a current. You can try to swim against it, but it takes a huge amount of energy.
It is a current, and the ultimate incentive is belonging. Behaviors become attractive when they help us fit in. You buy the expensive suit you can't really afford because everyone at the new job wears one. You use that silly inside joke so your friends know you get it.
You're signaling, I am one of you.
Exactly. So if we are these herd animals being swept along by the current, we need to understand the current itself. The source material breaks this down into 3 specific groups of people that we imitate.
Right.
It's a really useful framework. We imitate 1, the close, 2, the many, and 3, the powerful.
Okay, let's tackle these one by one. This is the real meat of it. Group 1, imitating the close. This is all about proximity, right?
Proximity is incredibly powerful. We've talked in previous deep dives about how your physical environment impacts you. Like, if you put cookies on the counter, you're going to eat them. But your social environment works in exactly the same way.
The people closest to us have the most influence.
By far. We just soak up their habits. And it's not always the big, obvious things. It's the small stuff,
We pick up the little mannerisms.
the tiny behaviors. We copy how our parents handle arguments. We copy how our peers flirt with people. We copy how our coworkers get results at the office. It's mostly unconscious.
The text mentions this thing about accents, which I totally relate to. I'm the kind of person who, if I spend an afternoon talking to someone with even a slight accent, I have to consciously fight the urge to not start talking like them.
Me too. And it's not mocking.
No, it's just automatic. It's like my brain is trying to build a bridge.
It is. It's unconscious imitation. The author mentions doing the same thing.
Yep.
Unconsciously imitating a friend's body posture in a conversation or picking up a roommate's slang words in college. It's our brain's way of signaling, I am like you. I am safe. We are part of the same tribe.
But it goes so much deeper than just slang or accents. There's some really heavy data on this. Let's talk about the Framingham Heart Study.
This is one of the most famous long-term studies in medical history, a massive undertaking. They tracked 12,000 people in one town for 32 years.
32 years. That is a serious data set. So they're looking at heart disease, but they found some other things along the way.
They found incredible things about social contagion. Specifically, they found that a person's chances of becoming obese increased by 57% if they had a friend who became obese.
Let's just pause on that number. 57%.
Yeah.
That is not a small correlation. That is a massive effect. Just because your friend gained weight, how does that work?
It seems incredibly high, right? And your first thought is, well, it's because friends eat at the same restaurants or do the same activities. And that's part of it. But the researchers found it was deeper than that. It was about the social norm.
What do you mean?
If your best friend gains 30 pounds, your perception of what is an acceptable or normal body size begins to shift. Without you even realizing it, your own standards change.
So it's not just contagious behavior, it's contagious standards.
Precisely. Your definition of what's okay gets recalibrated by the people around you. And thankfully, it works the other way, too. And the study found that if one person in a close relationship loses weight, the partner will also slim down about 1/3 of the time.
It's like invisible peer pressure.
That's a perfect term for it. Our friends and family provide a sort of social gravity that constantly, subtly pulls us in their direction. But, and this is the crucial part of this whole section, this isn't inherently a negative thing.
Right. Because peer pressure gets such a bad rap. We always hear, don't succumb to peer pressure. But the source material uses this great phrase, the astronaut effect, to show the positive side.
Yes. Let's look at the story of Mike Massimino. He was a NASA astronaut, but before that, he was a grad student at MIT.
And he took this small robotics class, right?
A tiny class, just 10 people. And out of those 10 people in that one class, 4 of them became astronauts.
Wait, 4 out of 10? That's an absurdly high hit rate. That's like a batting average of .400 or going to space. It can't be a coincidence.
Of course not. If your goal was to make it into space, that room was the best culture on planet Earth you could possibly be in. The ambition was normal. The intelligence was normal. The work ethic was normal.
You're surrounded by people who make your crazy dreams seem achievable.
Exactly. The takeaway is that we soak up the qualities and ambitions of those around us. There's another stat in the text. The higher your best friend's IQ is at age 11 or 12, the higher your IQ will be at age 15.
Even when you control for natural intelligence.
Yes. Even after accounting for baseline intelligence. Being around smart people literally helps you reach your own intellectual potential. It pulls you up.
So the actionable strategy here seems pretty clear. If you want to build a difficult habit, trying to do it in a vacuum all by yourself is playing on the highest difficulty setting.
It's almost impossible. One of the most effective things you can do is join a culture where your desired behavior is always the normal behavior.
Because new habits seem so much more achievable when you see other people just doing them every day.
If you want to get fit, and you surround yourself with people who run marathons for fun, suddenly running a 5K isn't this huge insurmountable mountain to climb. It's just what we do on Tuesdays.
The source material gives a really specific two-step strategy for this. It's not just go join a group.
Right, it's more nuanced. The 2 criteria for finding the right tribe are, number 1, your desired behavior is the normal behavior for that group.
That's the obvious part.
And number 2, you already have something in common with the group.
Okay, that second part is interesting. Already have something in common. Why is that so important?
Because it builds a bridge. It makes the group less intimidating and gives you a reason to belong beyond just the new habit. The case study here is fantastic. It's about a guy named Steve Cam and his company, Nerd Fitness.
I love this name, Nerd Fitness. It tells you everything you need to know.
It's brilliant marketing because it's brilliant psychology. Steve Cam is an entrepreneur, and he runs this online community and coaching service for, in his words, nerds, misfits, and mutants.
My people.
Exactly. His clients are people who love video games, Star Wars, Dungeons and Dragons, people who might feel totally out of place in a typical hardcore bro gym.
Oh, absolutely. If you walk into a gym for the first time and everyone looks like a professional bodybuilder and they're all grunting and throwing huge weights around, you feel like an alien. You feel like you don't belong and you probably won't come back.
But if you go to the nerd fitness community, the bridge is that shared love of the Lord of the Rings or video games. That shared interest makes the scary thing, the physical training, less intimidating. It creates an instant bond.
It shifts the psychology entirely.
It shifts from, I am trying to do this hard thing alone, to we, the people who love the same nerdy stuff, are doing this hard thing together.
Yes. The psychology of identity. It transforms a personal quest into a shared one. It moves you from saying, I am a reader, to we are a book club. From I am a musician to we are a band.
Yeah, it's a killer quote here. Nothing sustains motivation better than belonging to the tribe.
It's so true. Friendship and community embed that new identity. It's hard to quit your new fitness routine when quitting also means losing your friends who you play online games with every week.
You're letting the tribe down, not just yourself.
Okay, so that's group one, the close. We imitate those near us, for better or worse. Now let's zoom the camera out to group two, the many. This is about conformity, and for this we have to talk about the lines on the cards.
The Solomon Asch experiments. To really understand why this pull to conform is so overwhelmingly strong, we have to go back to the 1950s. This is classic psychology, but the details are actually more disturbing than the summary you usually hear suggests.
Set the scene for us. I remember seeing grainy black and white footage of this in a Psych 101 class. It's almost physically painful to watch.
It is. Okay, so paint the picture. You volunteered for what you think is a vision test. You walk into a room. There are maybe 7 or 8 other people sitting around a table. You think they are all fellow volunteers?
Just regular people like you?
Right. But they're not. They are all actors. They are plants working with the experimenter. You are the only real subject in the room, but you have no idea.
It's a complete setup.
A total setup. So the researcher in the white coat holds up 2 cards. Card A has 1 vertical line on it. Card B has 3 vertical lines of different lengths, labeled 1, 2, and 3. The task is incredibly simple. Match the line on the first card to the line of the same length on the second card.
So it's not a trick question. The answer is obvious. You can see it with your own eyes.
Painfully, ridiculously obvious. A child could do it. At first, for the first couple of rounds, everything is normal. Everyone gives the right answer. Line 2, line 1. You start to relax. Okay, easy experiment.
And then the twist.
Then the twist. After a few rounds, the experiment truly begins. The actors, one by one, start intentionally selecting the wrong answer.
So the line is clearly A, but the first person confidently says B.
Exactly. So imagine you are the real subject, and you're sitting at the end of the row, so you answer last. The first person says the wrong answer. You probably think, okay, that guy needs glasses. Then the second person says the same wrong answer. Then the third.
Oh man, you start to panic. Your heart would start pounding. You'd be thinking, wait a minute, am I crazy? Am I missing something? Is there some hidden pattern here that everyone else sees and I don't?
That's what the footage shows. It's called the double vision effect. You actually start to doubt your own senses, your own eyes. The text describes the subject's reactions perfectly. They become bewildered, their eyes go wide, they laugh nervously, they lean in and squint at the cards. They check the faces of the others for clues.
It's pure psychological torture. So what's the result? Do they stick to their guns and say what they see?
By the end of the experiment, nearly 75% of the subjects agreed with the group's incorrect answer, at least once.
75%. 3 out of 4 people caved to the group pressure, even when the group was demonstrably, obviously wrong. That just destroys the idea of the rational individual, doesn't it?
It obliterates it. And here is the really fascinating kicker. When they interviewed these people afterwards, some of them actually said they believed the group was right. Their brain had rewritten reality to fit in.
Yeah.
But most of them admitted they knew the group was wrong, but they went along with it anyway because they didn't want to look foolish or be the lone dissenter.
They preferred to be wrong with the crowd than be right by themselves.
That's the quote of the episode right there. Most days, we'd rather be wrong with the crowd than be right by ourselves. The pain of standing out is often greater than the pain of being wrong.
And Ash found that the power of conformity increased as the number of actors increased, right?
Yes. If it was just you and one actor giving the wrong answer, you'd just dismiss them. But as the group grew to 3, 4, up to 8 actors, the social pressure became almost unbearable.
It's terrifying how easily our own judgment can be swayed. And the text points out this isn't just a weird human thing. Animals do it too.
The chimpanzee study. This one is so fascinating. Researchers teach a chimp from one group a very effective method for cracking nuts, let's say using a heavy, sharp stone. The chimp gets really good at it. Then they move that chimp to a new group.
A new tribe, a new culture.
A new tribe. But this new tribe of chimps uses a much less effective method for cracking nuts. Maybe they use a clumsy wooden stick, or they just bang the nuts on the ground.
So the smart chimp, with the superior technology, shows them the better way, right? Becomes the hero. Hey guys, check out this rock technique. It's way better.
That's what you would think, the rational thing to do.
Yeah.
But no, in a stunning number of cases, the chimp with the superior method abandons it and adopts the worse, less efficient method of the new group.
The chimp effectively dumbs itself down just to fit in.
Yes. The desire to belong, to be accepted by the new tribe, literally overpowers the desire to be more effective and get more nuts.
Wow. That is profoundly relatable. I mean, how many times do we do things inefficiently at work just because that's how we've always done it here?
Constantly. The deep insight here is the constant battle in our minds between belonging and truth. And most of the time, the reward of being accepted is greater than the reward of being right.
In the modern world, we see this everywhere with online reviews. We scan Amazon, Yelp, TripAdvisor. We are constantly asking, what is everyone else doing? What does the tribe think?
We call it social proof.
Right. And most of the time, it's a smart shortcut. It's a good heuristic. There is wisdom in the crowd. If everyone is running out of a burning building, you should probably run too. Don't start to analyze the situation.
You'll be the contrarian in a fire.
Exactly. But the downside is that running against the grain of your culture requires a tremendous amount of extra effort. It's exhausting to be the outlier.
It is. When changing your habits means challenging the tribe, that change becomes very unattractive. But when changing your habits means fitting in with the tribe, it becomes the most attractive thing in the world.
Which brings us neatly to the final group. We've done the close, we've done the many. Now, group 3, we imitate the powerful.
The status game.
The great unending status game.
We all like to pretend we don't care about status, but
Oh, well.
it's kind of awkward to admit, but it's a fundamental human driver. We can't help it. It's wired into us. Humans in every culture on Earth pursue power, prestige, and titles. President, CEO, partner, doctor, grandmaster. We want medals on our jackets. We want the corner office. We want the blue check mark next to our name.
Why, though? Is it just pure ego?
Evolutionarily, no. It's all about survival and reproduction. For our ancestors, high status meant better access to resources, more food, better shelter, more safety. You worried less about basic survival. And, of course, you were seen as a more attractive mate.
So we are hardwired to not only want status for ourselves, but also to pay very close attention to people who already have it.
And to imitate them. We copy successful people because we desire the results they have.
The text lists some great modern examples. We copy the marketing strategies of the most successful firms in our industry. We try a recipe from our favorite famous baker.
We even mimic the communication style of our boss. If your boss uses a lot of corporate buzzwords, suddenly you find yourself saying, let's circle back on that, and we need to leverage our synergies, and that's low-hanging fruit.
Guilty as charged. I catch myself doing that all the time, and I hate it, but it just comes out.
Because we imitate people we envy. High-status people enjoy approval, respect, and praise from others. We crave that approval. So if a certain behavior gets them that praise, we find that behavior very attractive.
But there's a flip side to this too, isn't there? It's not just chasing the positive status markers. It's also about desperately avoiding the negative ones.
The avoidance mechanism. We are just as motivated, if not more motivated, to avoid behaviors that lower our status in the eyes of the tribe.
The example given in the text is a simple one. Mowing the lawn.
Right. Why do you mow your lawn? Is it because you just have a deep, passionate love for the smell of cut grass and the roar of a two-stroke engine? Maybe. But for most of us, it's because we don't want to be the slob of the neighborhood.
You don't want the neighbors whispering about you. You don't want to be that guy with the weeds and the overgrown mess. It's about avoiding social disapproval.
Exactly. When your mother says she's coming to visit, you frantically clean the house. Why? To avoid her judgment. We are constantly, subconsciously running a program in our head that's asking, what will other people think of me if I do this?
And this brings us full circle all the way back to the Polgar sisters.
It does. Let's tie it all together. Why did Susan, Sophia, and Judith stick with the grueling demands of chess for decades? Why did they practice for 6, 7, 8 hours every single day?
It wasn't just that it was fun in the moment, like the story about Sophia in the bathroom suggests.
No, that's only part of the equation. It was because the habit of playing chess was highly valued by their culture, and it hit all three of these imitation triggers.
Okay, break it down for us.
First, they got constant praise and encouragement from their parents. That's imitating the close. Their most important relationship was built around this habit. Second, as they entered the chess world, they saw that dedicating your life to chess was the normal thing to do in that tribe that's imitating the many.
And third,
And third, they started winning tournaments.
What?
They started getting titles, like International Master and then Grandmaster. They gained status that's imitating the powerful.
they became the high-status people that others wanted to imitate.
Exactly. And that status, that approval and prestige, reinforced the habit in a powerful feedback loop. It made the hard work of playing chess deeply attractive.
So it's all connected. The close family environment, the desire to fit into that family's culture, and the status that came from succeeding at the family trade.
It's a perfect storm of social habit formation.
So let's bring this all home. We have covered a lot of ground today. We started with a frankly bizarre Hungarian genius experiment, and we've ended up analyzing the deep-seated psychological reasons why we mow our lawns.
It's a wide range, but the central thread is singular. We are reflections of our social environment, much more than we like to admit.
Let's just quickly recap the three groups one more time.
Number one, we imitate the close. That's proximity, our family, our friends, the invisible peer pressure. The people we see every single day shape our normal.
Number two,
We imitate the many. That's conformity. The pull of the tribe, the Solomon Asch experiments. We'd rather be wrong with the crowd than right by ourselves.
and finally,
We imitate the powerful. That's status. We are drawn to behaviors that earn us respect, approval, and prestige.
and the overarching principle through all of this is the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive.
Our habits are all dopamine-driven feedback loops. We are motivated by the anticipation of a reward. And our culture is what programs us to anticipate certain things as rewarding.
If our culture rewards playing chess, chess becomes attractive. If our culture rewards binge drinking on weekends, then that becomes attractive.
Exactly. The behavior itself is neutral. The social context gives it its charge.
So what does this mean for you, the listener? We can't all be Polgar sisters. We certainly can't go back in time and choose our parents or the culture we were born into.
Yeah, we can't. But we can choose our tribes now. We can choose our friends. We can choose the communities we join. We can choose who we spend our time with.
That's the empowering part of all this. It's not a deterministic prison.
Not at all. The source material strongly implies that our habits are not entirely our own choices, but they are reflections of who we choose to spend our time with. So, if nothing sustains motivation better than belonging to the tribe, then we have a very important choice to make.
We have to audit our tribes. We have to look around and ask if the people we're surrounded by are pulling us up or holding us in place.
We do. And that leads to a final provocative thought for everyone listening. We talked about that chimpanzee, the one who knew the better, more efficient way to crack the nut, but used the worst way just to fit in with the new group.
The tragedy of the conformist chimp.
Right. So take a hard look at your own life. Look at your workplace, your friend group, your family. Where are you dumbing yourself down just to keep the peace? Where are you using the less effective method?
That's an uncomfortable question.
It's deeply uncomfortable. Are the tribes you currently belong to actually serving the person you claim you want to be? Or are you just cracking nuts inefficiently because you're afraid to be the only one in the room using a rock?
Wow, that is a question that might keep me up tonight. Where are we dumbing ourselves down just to fit in?
It's worth thinking about, because once you find and join the right tribe, the hard work of building good habits suddenly doesn't feel so hard anymore. It just feels normal.
Absolutely. Well, that is a wrap on the Polgar sisters and the incredible power of our social norms. As always, thanks for diving deep with us.
It was a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.